Today is Friday, the 20th of July. We are at the New York State Military Museum in Saratoga Springs, and my name is Wayne Clark. I am the interviewer. And sir, for the record, could you state your full name and your date of birth, please? Your full name?
State your full name and your date of birth.
Oh, Frank, middle initials A, Moy, M-O-Y.
Okay. And when were you born, sir?
And I'm a Lieutenant Commander, U.S. Navy, retired in 1961.
Okay, sir. And what is your date of birth?
4/1/16.
Okay. And whereabouts were you born and raised?
Say again?
Whereabouts were you born and raised?
Where were you born?
Oh, Burt, North Dakota.
Okay. And when and where did you enter the service?
I went into the service back in 1934. I went in the Army for 2 years and got sent to Honolulu.
Uh-huh.
And I came back, and then I was lived in Galloway until 1939, and then I went in the Navy in 1939.
Okay. Now, whereabouts did you go for your training in the Navy?
I enlisted in Schenectady, New York. What's your question again?
Whereabouts did they send you once you joined the Navy? Did you have to go to a basic training?
Oh yeah. When I went through boot camp in Newport, Rhode Island,
Uh-huh.
in 1939, I qualified and went to Aviation Metalsmith School in Pensacola, Florida.
And
I
what?
went to had a school down there for about 6 months,
What did you learn down there?
and then I got transferred from them to Seattle, Washington, and went in a PBY squadron, VP 41 at Sand Point,
Okay.
Seattle. And then we got deployed out of there. And see, I was third-class petty officer then. And went to got sent up to the Kodiak, Alaska. There in and then 1941, Pearl Harbor was we were at Dutch Harbor, had 3 PBYs there, and we had to sleep in all civilian houses, and then all the Lucian people were moved out.
How did you hear about the attack on Pearl Harbor? Did you hear it on the radio, or did it come through the base? Do you remember?
Well, we heard heard it on the radio. I mean, it was a squadron.
Okay. Now, let me ask you, your job in the squadron, you went to metalsmith school. Did you work repairing the aircraft?
When you went to metalsmith school, did you work on repairing the aircraft? Back in Pensacola, right?
Yeah.
When I left the middle school there and at Dutch Harbor, we went to San Diego, the receiving station, And then that's when they signed the squadron and sent us up to Seattle, and this PBY squadron.
Okay, what was your job with the PBY squadron? What did you do?
What did you do with the PBY squadron? What did you do with the PBY squadron?
What did I do?
Yeah.
Oh, I was in the ground crew, and the training we had in the aviation medical school, we handled all the repair work and everything else, and all the structure except the engines. And that was they have aviation machinists made for that.
Mm-hmm.
And all the hydraulic problems solution. I mean, we had that for maintenance.
Was the PBY a good airplane?
The PBY, yeah, that's a patrol bomber at that time. At a normal cruise, 9, and it was they used it for, well, back in those days, during the campaign in Lucien Island, it was used for bombing and everything. They even carried torpedoes on the wings.
Mm-hmm.
That's concentrated by consulate in San Diego. It had all this radar on it and everything. We had started off with, we had in the squadron, we lost, so we had, out of 12 airplanes, we lost 9 during the operation, during that Battle of Lucien Islands and around, and the cruise. Actually, the weather was, you had the weather against you up there flying
Mm-hmm.
and everything, but I was on the ground crew all that time, and out of the planes we had, one of our airplanes got shot down by Zeros, and that was June, same time the battle began, 1940. So my memory is done. But anyway, I just won a PBY that got shot down from the carrier plane there. And this job cruiser picked up, there was 3 out of 9 that got on the airplane. And the Japanese cruiser picked them up, and they were, I knew them all, and one guy was a buddy of mine who went in the Navy together in 1940. And he was a POW for 39 months. He's still alive. He lives down in Jacksonville, Florida. Mm-hmm. And the other, but they actually they don't know how much. They really lost between the weather. I know one of them was flown away after the war in the mountains down there at Kiska. And they ran right to the side of a mountain. They found the plane after And then another squadron was up there at the same time that we were, out of the VP-42. And skipper of that squadron, he was our skipper too. Russell, he was the lieutenant commander then. He was in charge of SEAL of both the squadrons. And then in 1943, when we came back to the States in 1943, he went to assigned to the Bureau in Washington, and they put the word out that anybody that served under him during that time, that they could have any duty they wanted. So they sent me to, I went to the University of Texas school, and that was for that flight program, V5 program. So I didn't get my wings, the Navy, to fly until 1946, April 1946, finished up. And then I got sent back. I went in a 4-engine squadron, and then I got stationed out at Guam in his transport squadron in 1946 to 48, and then the squadron there, we flying in all these countries: Japan, China, Tsingtao, Philippines, Samoa, and under the squadron during the Berlin airlift, our squadron left Guam. We went right direct to Germany for the airlift over in Germany. And me and I had already had 2 years service and doing the service out of Guam. I was due to, they didn't send me over with the squadron. I sent me to the squadron United, and it's in Norfolk, the Air 31. That was a squadron where you ferrying airplanes all over the country.
Now, what kind of airplanes did you fly?
What's that?
What kind of airplanes did you fly?
Oh, and when I went there, actually I checked out on 40 different types of airplanes when I was in the squadron there. And I flew it, and when I flew the first jets that Grumman made. Grumman, the straight wing, and at that time they wasn't using the fuel, jet fuel. They were running regular high-octane fuel in the planes, in the jets. And I flew then after well, we went to the ferry squadron. That's where we checked out a lot, and also we accepted and tested, particularly Grumman, accepted the aircraft for the Navy test, and also McDonnell aircraft, St. Louis. I flew the first jets that they made there and accepted them at the test hop testing for the Navy. And then when they flew the airplane back to Norfolk, they gave them to the Marines. The Marines down at Cherry Point. They had, well, when I was after I went up to the build, I was flying, I was in the training command, and training both engine pilots. They had that. I did that till 1948, from 46 to 48. I'm sorry, I can't.
Well, it sounds like you flew just about everything the Navy had.
Yeah, I had that was a good experience. That's when I flew the first Bearcat, the F-8F. They had there. Yeah, I was pretty lucky there. I liked it. I wish I could back there now.
Now, did you have any kind of college education before you became an officer?
College. How did you fit college in there?
Oh, when we got back, the Navy had gone in and started the flight program. Actually, I went to 3 different colleges. First one I went down to the University of Texas, and that's mainly all book work, and particularly navigation. I had to learn that, and then aerology and all that. I had I know we had all the University of Texas had most all civilian instructors. They had their those teachers they were real good to us. We all came back, you know. They didn't rush out of time limit taking a test. And they gave the same test all over in the Navy, all of them, the flight training, other colleges.
Mm-hmm. Now, what kind of airplane did you solo in, or learn to fly in? What was the first airplane?
The first airplane I flew in when I went to, PBYs. I flew in, I didn't get time in that, but I went through pilot training, and that's the first big year we had a solo at that plane that brought the field there at Pensacola.
Uh-huh.
And that was in 1943.
Okay.
But then anyway, I ended up as being an instructor, and when I got sent to what I ended up in, I had both ends. They gave us both ends of training to fly this transport plane, the Douglas DC-4. We call it the R5D. And that's when I went out to 1946, went out to Guam. I flew that airplane. I accumulated more than 2,000 hours out there in a 2-year period. But when I came back to the States in 1948 from Guam, had checked out and what the when I got the amount of hours that I had in I don't know, over 2,000, but I had more than when I got sent up to Argentina, Newfoundland, naval station they had there. And that was, I had the amount of hours I had, say, 1950. I got up there in Argentina, then Admiral Moore, he was the admiral in charge of the wing up there where they were flying as super Connies on the early warning squadron out. But anyway, I was the admiral's pilot there for 2 years, and he was. And at that time, I had over 8,000 hours altogether, and he picked me to be his pilot. So I flew, and then let's see, I stayed up there until 1961. That's when I retired from the Navy. 1961.
Now, what rank were you when you retired?
I retired as Lieutenant Commander, regular USN. I got my ID card in my pocket.
Mm-hmm. Now, you were married right after the war, World War II?
No, then when I got when I left our judge there, well, I got sent back to a change of duty there, and I was stationed in the Bureau of Aeronautics, Eastern District. That's where I met my wife there.
Okay. Do you remember what year that was?
That was in 1950.
53, maybe? Is it? I'm not sure. Mike was born in 1956.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But I think it was 1953.
That's the trouble, I can't remember.
It's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, once you retired from the service, what did you do next?
Okay, I came back. I was born and raised on a farm, and at Galloway. Galloway is actually my old hometown. And I went in partnership with my brother in 1950 and I came back from bought a farm and over in east in Washington County. So he had operated, my brother operated all there because I was still in the Navy. And then when I got out, retired in 1961, I came back and I wasn't about to getting tied down to milking cows. I had beef cows. I raised beef cows on
Justice
the town of
Peace.
Easton, Washington County. That's my address
Okay.
there.
So you were Justice of the Peace there?
Yeah.
Remember you did Justice of the Peace? Remember you did the town justice for a while? Town supervisor?
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I was in politics too. When I first moved there in 1961, retired from the Navy, and they wanted the town of Easton, they wanted to change, and that's when the Justice of Peace was on the town board, and then it had 2 councilmen and a supervisor. Well, I wanted to call it Justice of Peace, and so I got elected as Justice of Peace and I was on a combination on the town board. The supervisor when I was on the town, 14 years. And then to fill in at my job on a farm, taking care of everything, I started out being a bus driver, school bus driver for Scholarville School. And finally I turned, I was a part-time driver for about a year, and then this other driver got physical, and then I was a permanent driver. And I was, one of the principals was a friend of mine. I knew him ever since we was kids over at Galloway. His name was Hilton Barrett. And he was, went through the Battle of Bulge, and he was a POW. Until the war ended there. I didn't, I didn't run against. I had 14 years completed between justice and town, and but they took the justices off the town board. They had 4 councilmen out of that. So I liked that job of being at the town justice. I went to Albany Law School for training. And that's one thing about the rewards that we got. I had there that World War II veteran, and that we could have a job if any airplane were really flawed. So I could have had a job at Grumman Aircraft, flying in this thing. Could have a job at Lockheed, McDonald, and all of it didn't even have to, at first in college, and we didn't even have to take an entrance exam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in other words, exam, they just take us. And I know when I was down to Albany Law School for training at justice, and I said, I told this professor there that had if I was younger and knew how to spell better, I said I wouldn't mind going to law school. And he said, heck, he said, you can start it right now. You don't have to pass anything. And go on. And he said he'd introduce another guy there, and he said, he's instructor here now, and he said he went through the same thing you did, you know. He went through to be the instructor going. But all the time that you had, and I had it. I flew for New York State when I got out part-time.
Oh, really?
I was a co-pilot for that's when the World Fair was on in Montreal. It's a long time ago. And that's when Rockefeller was governor, and he had his own plane and pilot, so we didn't have to. Only got a Chamber of Commerce there was there, a boat I had there. I know we had fly them up to Montreal during the fair there. Little old twin-engine Beechcraft. I was the co-pilot of it. They had their own pilots.
Now, did you continue to fly as a civilian just for the fun of it, or?
Well, after I was more or less retired, Dr. Trackman, he'd get a flight physical. But yeah, I had my own airplane there, landing strip. I had a tri-pacer that I bought, and I'd fly, but operating the farm and everything going through. I sold the plane. I sold the plane in World War II. He was a P-47 pilot, Thunderbird. He bought the plane. If I hung on that plane, it would have been really worth something.
Now, you work for UPS also?
No, I think I've had New York State mixed up.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I think that's
Okay.
why.
No,
A couple questions there.
Okay.
There's one admiral that he really.
actually, the only civilian job I ever had was driving the school bus at Scottsville. They got medical, got insurance, Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance, and that for that.
Yeah, if you want me to ask something.
And I mean, at that time, the job.
Okay. Okay. Was there an admiral that you admired that made a big difference in your life?
Who was that admiral that you talk about? I can't think of his last name. We went on the cruise for him. I met him on the cruise. What was his name? Not,
You know Admiral Russell?
that's it, yep.
Yeah. Admiral Russell, he had his, well, he retired as a 4-star general after he went into the Bureau. He had his wife. We had a cruise. Actually, it started out as Dallas and went down through the Panama Canal and going through it. And we call it the whoever handled the tour trip that we allowed. Well, actually, my wife and I, and then Christy went along. She could go along too, and she kind of helped the admiral with his wife, and so she stood in pretty good with the admiral taking care of the wife. But that was really a good cruise. We had our own. We were with a bunch of old World War II guys. That was mostly our squadron, and more than one squadron up at Pat Wing 4, they call it up there on this cruise.
Mm-hmm.
Went through the Panama Canal and ended up in San Juan. We flew back to went back to Phoenix. They had, I told Admiral went on a reunion. Actually, this reunion '87. Well, that's on the other cap. 1987. He'd come to all our reunions and on a 4-star admiral went through. I told him, I says, out there, he lived in Seattle there, and I told him I don't have any relatives out there going up to Seattle. And he said, well, come and see me. Just come and see me. And I said, can I bring my dog too? He said, yeah, bring your dog. And he was a good old guy. He was the old Bull Hoseley type admiral, you know. He would talk to enlisted men and everything else. I've been going through. That's what Bull Hoseley was in an aircraft carrier. And I don't know whether you want to put all this stuff through.
Sure. Also, do you want to tell us about being attacked at Adair?
Adak?
Adak, I'm sorry.
I remember you telling about being in the bunker and being strafed, or how do you say it?
Strafed.
Strafed. I remember you being in a bunker, wasn't it in Adak? Remember you got attacked by Japanese, they're shot on the bunker full of ammunition?
Oh, yeah, when I got bombed?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. When we got bombed up there in June, 2 days in a row, second and third. Okay, I thought the Japs only had one carrier up there. Saying this is the same time that the Battle of Midway, they sunk 4 carriers. But they found out after they had 2 carriers there bombing. Well, and I've come to find out after, see, when I bombed us the first day there, that we're looking for a place to bomb shelter going through, and actually there was you run out of the barracks, and I run up, well, I had this, it's like a pillbox, cement blocks around, about 5 or 6 guys can get in it. And there wasn't any room in there for me going through it. And it just happened to be that one of our Jap bombs hit a truck at the same time. There was only one guy got out there, or got out alive. In the meantime, I was running down and alongside of the building, the building and barracks. And I fell down, and then I found when they were doing plumbing work, putting in ground pipes and everything else. That's what. But that's the same time the ship came in and just already right in the dock, and I was only wasn't not much over 300-400. Oh, gee whiz. But they and I thought it was, how come that the Japs didn't hit that ship? It was loaded with gas and aviation fuel and bombs and everything. If they ever hit it, boy, they're gone. But see, the Japs, the pilots had word, and I didn't know this till after. Actually, the safest place to be during the raid was in the barracks, because they got said don't bomb any of the buildings, because they were sure they're going to invade the Dutch harbor, and that's no reason why they didn't hit that ship. That would have been an easy target. They had, and then anyway, we could have lived in the barracks, and we didn't know about it till after war. Until then the Japs moved down to Kiska and had two down there, and they moved down there, and it took. So after we were living out in foxholes for about till they landed down there. They knew they landed down there in Kiska and out too. So we just then after that they told us we could live in the barn. But we got, we made out, we didn't have much of a choice where we got food. You got to let's say, like Jewel was telling you, when I made coffee.
Yeah.
I made coffee in a foxhole. You use gravel, put a little aviation gas into it, light it off, and then you get hot water, make coffee. So he thought he remembered that.
Now, were you wounded at all during that attack?
Huh?
Were you wounded at all? I thought you had a piece of shrapnel in you somewhere. Were you wounded at all? Do you have any shrapnel? I thought you had some shrapnel in you somewhere. In your head? Part of a bullet?
I mean, just during the raid, you mean it?
Yeah, or before. I thought you had an injury, but...
Were you wounded at all or injured during the attack?
Were you injured at all during the attack?
Oh, it was at least a week I was out there. Till I found out the Japs were all down at Kissimmee too.
But did you get hit with any shrapnel or anything?
Oh, see, our plane had I had this shrapnel I got from They didn't want, see, we had our planes and revetments alongside of a hill down there, Baby Wise.
Uh-huh.
And the old, they did hit the hangar there. One airplane was in the hangar. The hangar wasn't fully built. But but during that, I did, our guys would, what kind anyway, there when they I'll tell you when they bombed us, particularly the second day, they it was down there and the veterans working on the plane. Had this buddy of mine that had it. So we did go and we ran up in a hill, side of the hill up there, where there's stored ammunition dump they call it, you know, they had the half-round building.
Yep.
The Zeros were strafing like mad at the time there, and I said to Jack, my buddy Benny, I said, let's get in here. And I said, if they hit it, so be it, you know. And he was looking out, counting the bombs, the low altitude counting. And he said, I said, hey Jack, the straight coming out. He no more than closed the door, the big metal door, and bullets bounced off that door. And here I was back in there hiding behind some torpedoes, and I said, hey Jack, you all right? And he didn't answer me at first. And I said, oh. So he finally answered, and there's a guy followed us up, and he didn't quite make it to this ammunition dump where we were. He was only down there over 100 feet from us, and a bomb hit right close to him. It didn't even hit him, and he got covered up with dirt. So we knew right where he was. We dug him out. He didn't get hurt at all.
Wow.
We dug him out, but he got covered up with dirt from the bomb and the National Guard, they were way up on a hill if they ever come out. And they had larger guns and all like that. And I know the last time I used to keep in touch with Jack Swan on the phone, and he lived in Omaha, Nebraska, and he retired in '82, and last time I talked to him, I said, remember when you close that door and the bullets bounce off the door? And he said, that was my heart. He said his heart. And we had one guy in a squadron. He left. He went up with the army. That was funny. Old Bull, as the name was. She was here. He come back. He had all kinds of guns. Every other thing he had. they didn't even hit the National Guard out from. They were up from Arkansas too. They were up there. That reunion we had, that was our 50th anniversary of the bombing that we had there. A few years. That's what we were talking about. And going.
Now,
I heard these, and I tell you, those seeing the civilians and the fish hatchery and everything else, they treated us like king. And this one National Guard outfit said, gee, he says, here we losing men and everything else, fighting over this place. And who runs it now? The Japanese got in control of fish hatcheries and everything there, and catching said it might as well turn it over.
was there also a story about the Japanese strafing a row of dead GIs or soldiers?
Remember that story you told about the planes that hit the row of dead guys, not the wounded soldiers? And remember that?
Oh yeah, I got down there in Kiska. Oh, those Rangers, I tell you, boy, they were in the Army. That's what I heard, because I was in Dutch Harbor in that area. I didn't go out to Kiska and that too. I was a summer unit, but our airplanes were bombing down there. That's where we lost them. And about this, how sharp the Rangers, I shot this Jap and so he went right in the head with some of the. That's how sharp those Rangers are. Boy, they were good. I was down there in that too. Because that's just the guy who just come back and told me that. And,
Okay.
Should I ask about the medal again?
Let's say even our airplanes with our PBYs carrying the bombs and everything, they even made bombing runs on down there on those. And they made you go in and make it runs over the Palmer Cheryl and that could combination of the Russians and what the Jap ships were there. But I wasn't involved in that, but friends of mine were on that I was the Navy with.
A couple things didn't you, I thought you still on a CAT scan showed some metal in your head or something. I thought you had a little bit of metal somewhere in you. Okay. I thought you had a little bit of metal in you somewhere. Do you?
Oh, yeah. I got one. The only thing I got said when I fell, when I was running, when I ran away from that bomb shelter where all those guys got killed and looking for a place to hide, and I fell, and when I was down to see my left ear there was bottom and going through, and there was two doctors with the doctor, civilian doctor, civilian doctor at the University of Texas. That's where they wanted had a little piece of metal somewhere there. And then this doctor, air doctor, Greenwich, where the turn to go, Yuma, what's his name, short name? And when he accelerated my head took it, he said there's a small piece of bone in there. And I haven't heard about it since. I don't know what happened. They when I was in the emergency hospital down there, when I put that MRI stuff through, and I found out that my sides was infected, going through it. They didn't say anything about it.
Okay.
So I don't know where that happened.
One other question I wanted to ask you, though, with the Admiral Russell, I thought he did some favor for you when you were younger. I thought Admiral Russell did some kind of favor for you, helped you get a job or something. What did he do for you again? He did something in the military before we met him at the reunion, obviously. Do you remember? Remember Admiral Russell?
Yeah.
What did he do for you? I thought he did some favor for you or something, or he encouraged you to do some job that you normally wouldn't have, I thought.
Oh, when he got out, when he was a civilian, when he retired?
I don't remember the story. I just remember you saying something about it. He just seemed like he was awfully good to you.
Well, he just lived in a home there, Burt, right near Seattle, Oregon. I don't suppose I know he wasn't involved in any outside jobs.
No, you didn't hear me. I should write it out for him, but it's probably getting. What did he do? He did something for you when you were in the military. I don't remember what. When he was your admiral, I thought he got you a certain job or inspired you to do something different than you would have done. I don't remember now. That's what he did.
Yeah.
But I remember you talking about him a lot.
Yeah. They gave us all kinds of benefits and choice.
Now, you've attended a number of reunions with. Have you attended reunions?
Our paddling for reunion, this paddling. Paddling for, say that's more than one squadron. That reunion I went to that old Catholic in 1987, so that must have been the 50th anniversary.
Is that the first one you attended, or were there other ones also?
No, we were having one about every year.
Oh, okay.
But we have a separate union. Union. It's all pilots. All us pilots are involved. And it was all us pilots. We got our wings designated as enlisted pilots. The Navy had enlisted pilots back in those days.
Oh, okay.
And got commissions later on during the war. We had quite a few guys, a lot of guys stayed in. I mean, we had one he's still alive, had one. In fact, he went through boot camp with me in Providence, Rhode Island in 1939. And he went aboard the ship a destroyer tender, a new one just put in commission. And anyway, somehow he got into flight training to train as an enlisted pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And evidently he, so he doesn't, and so to make a long story short, he got thrown, and he more or less, he still belonged to our enlisted pilot division, but he more or less was in general service. And he got, and he, anyway, he belonged, and he made admiral. And he, in fact, I got something about our pilots reunion just not too long ago, where he was collecting for something, I don't know, making reservations or something. And he's still around, San Diego.
Okay, I'm going to have to...
His name is Price.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop now. We're out of film. I'll put in another cassette. Okay, this will just take a second.
The other thing I want to tell you, I forgot what the jobs bombed us at that first day they bombed us. They, that's what hurt my head. But the zero came right down. I got a wave to the pilot, you know, going through.
Mm-hmm.
But the National Guard, just beyond the National Guard there, where the barracks, they, on one side of the road, the National Guard had all the dead guys. On the other side, the wounded guys. And this Zero come right in and just come down and put her in a skid, just skid right down, and but the side of the road he strafed, that's where the dead guys were at.
Mm-hmm.
So there were I don't know how many there were.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What person do you remember best from your service and why? What person had the most impact on your life? Was it Admiral Russell or somebody else?
What person had the most impact on your life in the Navy? Was there one particular person that really... Let me read the question.
Oh, actually, I think we probably got. That's all right.
All right. What person do you remember best from your service? What person made the most impression on you? Was it Admiral Russell?
Can I read it there?
Sure, yeah. About that one. Which question do you want?
The second one there.
Yeah.
This one here?
No, just read the typed. That's the question Wayne's asking you. Right here. Right here.
Yeah, okay.
I can take it back. Yeah. That's just my own notes, so that'll confuse you here.
The people, boy, there's more than one. Like Jack Swan, he was the one, he passed away. He was with me during the bombing and like that, the second. And Karl Kramer, he was a POW for 39 months. He's, and I have been in contact with him, let him for a friend, but there's, I have two personal friends that I know way back in front. They live in San Jose, California, and one of his name is Paul Francis, and the other one is Frank Balsog. Well, see, I've been with those guys. I went through flight training with them, and particularly Paul Francis. I was just talking to him the other day from San Jose that in 1946 we had our option of going on the back of the Pacific, and he was one of these. He mentioned the sign. He said, let's go all the way on. We've both been to Honolulu before and go up to Guam. So we went up there and Frank Balsog, he had duty some other place. But as far as my World War II buddies, I tell you, though, when you're in the, and I see the point of that, when you're under combat duty and you don't know well around, one thing you're worried about is staying alive.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where your buddies, you're worried more about buddy, don't worry about anything else but your best friends, your buddies you're with. You know, and I have there. I really.
Okay. What was that first thing?
That was really
that one.
I read that. Okay. Hey, Up. Why don't you can you answer this question too? Number 1.
You got. No, let's say that again.
Funniest or more inspiring? Give me 2.
Most inspiring experience during your service. Your service. Well, that's a good question. I've got a few. But you talk to any of these combat veterans, is right, your best friends. And I had to. Yeah. Well, I had about the experience of going through it back when I was a test pilot. I had that, I made you really remember, I almost had an air collision in an F-9F when I was firing them. They have their that experience I had the living in I call it a foxhole out there during a bombing raid there they had. But, I got a
Okay, did you ever have to make any emergency landings when your plane was in trouble at all?
yeah, I had to make more than once I had to make emergency landing. I had to make emergency landing in a brand new F-9F jet when I was flying over when I took off from Dallas. I got over and I had to make an emergency landing at Fort Worth. I had a flame out.
Oh.
I had and then up in Goose Bay, Labrador, up in Greenland up there. Well, it was actually it wasn't an emergency landing. Actually, the plane. This was a multi-engine plane. Gross out about 80,000 pounds, 2-engine Lockheed. It landed up in Labrador and Goose Bay, and it didn't have any brakes. The brakes were burned out. I couldn't take a wave off on account of didn't have enough runway left and besides the mountains. So when I got down to the end of the runway, I had the co-pilot running. I ground looped to the left. I had a full power on the engine to the left, on the right engine, ground loop. And if you walked out over that wing hung right over the cliff, right straight down. So I'd never be able to take over.
That must have been some experience.
How far a drop?
I got a combination or the old skipper there wrote up. Good report on it, did get excited, use my head, you know.
Mm-hmm. So you saved the airplane and the crew.
He said, so you saved the airplane and the crew.
The Navy airplane, yeah, that's the only planes I ever flew.
How far a drop was it? How far was that? I saw a picture. Wasn't that cliff? How many feet was the cliff? How far down was the cliff? That was pretty high, if I remember the picture right.
Gee, I don't know now. It must be 200 or 300 feet down, right straight down. You couldn't. They never make landings towards the west, going on account of the mountain and coming down. And They have.
Hey, tell about the landing. Tell about the time in Texas when you had the landing gear wouldn't come down. I remember my mom only found out about it on the news, and he had to circle. The whole town was watching. I guess.
That's when I was instructor in Lockheed. These training new pilots. This is out of Hutchinson, Kansas, and we're out outline field. There were practicing the field, seeing a student was like he was the left seat, and I got on the right seat, and practicing a crosswind landing going through, and well, it just happened to be the way that left wheel landing gear hit the runway going through it. It bent the strut, and the landing gear stuck right out about 45 degrees. So I was in the right seat. I took added power and so I stayed on the right wheel and took off so I wouldn't fall up the other. So I took off, and then I brought the airplane back to the main field, Hutchinson, Kansas. And I had the fire engines on and everything. I had that landing gear sticking out, and I transferred fuel and stuff. So I landed on the right gear, and I held it off as long as I could, and the other wheel come down. It didn't even do any damage to the airplane at all. I heard the guy was going to put me on an accident insurance, and the accident committee, I think in Washington or Virginia, they said there wasn't even any need to send it in, and actually it was going to be charged against anybody, it'd be against the student. So that was, you have all kind of incidents like that. I've been flying, and you check out so many airplanes are going through. I mean, I can tell you different ones, even lots of, as I can remember.
Tell about the one when you passed out. Remember when your oxygen? Tell about when you passed out and the student had to brought you. Remember when you passed out?
Oh. Let's see, which one now? Oh.
When your oxygen got cut off, and the student noticed it, and then lowered you down.
I was thinking when it happened. That was in a jet when I had the well, I don't know. I forgot all the details. That's what okay. Yeah, that was the jet. Leaving Hudson, Kansas. I was going to fly to Norfolk, in Hudson, Kansas. I had a student I had, he was in the back seat. He was an experienced pilot. Actually, he was redoing his instrument card. Well, that I tuned in the next station after I left Memphis. And when I was leaning forward with the rhythm of oxygen mask, that I blanked out there a little bit. But the pilot, the student pilot in the back, because he made he lived down to, from 30,000 feet down to 20,000, down 10,000 feet, where he didn't need an oxygen mask, and he was telling me 100% oxygen. So I came to it on 100% oxygen, and then we were low on fuel, so I landed in the SAC base at Nashville base there, and I was come to enough that I made the landing and everything, no problem. And then one day the operation around this here is all midnight or after. And our flight officer, flight surgeon, they have the same thing. They take care of the pilots' physicals and all like that. And he gave me a check over and physical going through, and I said, heck, I don't want to stay overnight. I said, I have. And he says, okay. He says, just don't go over 20,000 feet on the way to Norfolk. So no problem. I went to Norfolk and got there. And your mother was out there waiting at the plane there. Couldn't have it. I'd say that was those things happen. So everything's okay.
Hey, can I ask you one more question? Can I ask you one more? Because I have a picture still of when you landed. It was just like I think a single-engine small plane, but you landed in I think a field in Texas where there's a bull. Well, I forgot about that story. The one where you had to land in a field and there was a bull in the field. I have the picture of it.
That was in. That was during flight training. That was in 19. When I was in, must have been 1940. When I went to flight school, 43. See, part of our training was all gone at the University of Texas when I went to flight through 1943. And then at the University of Houston, they give us half a day of flying and half a day of ground school going through. And have somebody instruct, and they check you out flying small airplanes, see if you get adapted to flying. Otherwise, if you're not adapted to flying, you don't continue the program anymore. So I had and when we took off for our training flight, and it was covered V-12, 12, you know, 12 airplane, Piper car, but student riding the front front seat. And when he did he said he took it on, when he did a 360 to check the traffic, say it rained out and it was wet and there was a cardboard wrapped around the vertical stable, and so I actually didn't have any, had to go and over the controls back, the little back wing there too, and didn't have any, so his instructor just figured get it down on the ground, so one had landed at this bull pasture. And when you took the first visitors we had, the bulls, I made the front line out the front page of the Houston paper on that. Our student landed in a bull pasture. That was really funny. I could go on. I like cows anyway. They're really big old bulls they had there. That was funny though. I got a picture, I still got a picture of the plane where it came in on the nose. I got the article and it was in the Houston paper on it. Yeah, I forgot it. That was really funny.
Okay, I guess we'll end it here, and I want to thank you very much for your interview.
He's saying he'll end it here, and he wanted to thank you very much for the interview. I still had to check one more thing, though.
Oh, okay.
You know, I just wanted to check one thing with the landing gear question. I had a question. With the landing gear, I thought that was in Corpus Christi. Because I remember my mom saying...
Yeah, it was. Outside landing in Corpus Christi, that's a Lockheed plane had this done where the student was practicing crosswind landing.
Yeah. Oh, it started there? I just remember Grammy saying that she knew you were home late and she didn't know what the problem was. And here the whole town, or the whole Corpus Christi, I thought, knew that you were circling to use up the fuel.
Oh,
and
yeah,
she was saying she's glad she didn't know about it because she had been worrying all day. That's a different story than the Hutchinson one, or the landing gear?
Yeah, the landing gear, I wanted to get, I had a lot of fuel to burn off.
Okay.
Get the weight down. I don't know how many, circled around for, I don't know how many hours, it circled around and had trouble transferring the fuel over to the right wing because that wheel stuck out to the left. That was
Okay.
there was no problem landing the plane. I didn't have a problem.
I just didn't know if you landed in Corpus Christi or you landed up in Hutchinson. I thought I was just making sure it was not just. I was just confused. I wanted to make sure it was the same different stories or the same one. I wasn't sure because I thought you said I thought it was the Corpus Christi and then you said Hutchinson, Kansas. So my mistake. Anyway, Wayne wanted to say. Wayne was saying thank you for the interview. I'm saying thank you for the interview. I enjoyed it. And unless you have something else you wanted to add, we can stop for today. And if you think of something else, then we can come back, right?
Sure.
Okay.
No, I had to add that zero there. That was really expensive here. I couldn't get in that little pillbox, which all those guys were doing, which is making the run, and then and here that zero, I could still see him. You see him just as plain out close, and he come in and strafe those National Guard guys. And then after they landed, after we got through, they acted as the safest place for us guys to be was inside the barracks because they weren't supposed to bomb any buildings and stuff. So they were really set on taking the Dutch Harbor. that some of the big wheels were lit something to go down. Maybe I better not tell this. They had where high-ranking officers got demoted and got because they were scared to go out there. Don't publish this.
Okay, we won't. All right, well, thank you again, sir.
Huh?
Thank you again.
Yeah.